Well, there it is. Hi guys, this is Witty, and it's been requested of me that I talk a little bit about the Nostalrius server. This is the unofficial, yet somewhat official enough to be removed, vanilla World of Warcraft server that was basically being hosted for 150,000 active players up until this point. It started in about February 2015, I believe, so it's only just over a year old, and it's had over 800,000 accounts created, and generally speaking 150,000 of those are very active. Well, unfortunately were very active. So it's a legacy gaming server, so to speak. It's about the World of Warcraft in its prime, and let's go back to how it used to be when World of Warcraft was great. Yeah, Donald Trump reference, am I right? So people really did enjoy this server, and it actually got quite a lot of attention around it, which is, I think, partly why it got taken down. Now, I have not played on this server, and given the chance, I would have probably given it a go if I knew that it was going to be taken down. I think they had a week, and well, I should have probably tried to give it a go, but unfortunately I didn't. It would have been interesting to see, but needless to say, World of Warcraft is a fantastic game, or you could say was, depending on your opinion. Now, I played World of Warcraft since the beta. I remember so long ago, before vanilla even came out, there was a beta for it, an open beta that loads of people had access to, and it was ridiculous lag fest. Like, if you died, it took you about 30 seconds to click on the thing that said resurrect when you got back to your corpse. So you better pray that you don't die, because you will not be able to get back into playing other than just staring at your dead character for 30 or so minutes. It was fantastic though. I really loved World of Warcraft. I still do to this day. I do not actively play, so that's my condition right now. However, I will be coming back for the expansion, Legion, and I'm looking forward to it. The expansions are always great, you know? Maybe not in the long run, but in the early times, it's like one of the best things ever. It's just like everyone comes back, you got your friends back, you're just playing together, leveling up, experiencing the new content. It's a fantastic thing. It's just a shame we don't really have more games that kind of promote that kind of play style, but MMOs are slowly dying out, so it's being transitioned. You're getting MMO aspects put into other games that are quicker and shorter, 20-minute rounds, that kind of thing, but you're getting the leveling up aspect, the progression aspect. So I'm slightly diverting in my course here, but this is just freeball. I ain't got a script or anything like that. I'm just literally just saying what's on my mind, and I suppose I should actually show something on the video. I need to do that kind of thing, because it's more of a podcast kind of thing, I suppose. But there's all the people that have talked about this, so you can always go over to the website en.nostalrius.org. Just look up Nostalrius in your Google and it will come up, and lots of these other YouTubers have made videos about it, you know, discussing their opinions, and the debate that is to be, should this server have been taken down, what really players want from World of Warcraft these days. There's lots of things to talk about here, and there's one thing I really want to focus on, okay, and that's mainly going to be, will we see legacy servers come to World of Warcraft? Now that's the main topic of debate for me, because I just dropped I didn't play it, and I kind of wish I could play it. Would I play it if it came back? By the way, what we're looking at right now is a petition. Now, this petition is more of just sort of like a way to show that there is support for this game, this vanilla version of World of Warcraft, but they don't expect this to be taken too seriously by Blizzard. I mean, Blizzard have already gone through with the details of removing the server, and they ain't going to go back now. I can't possibly imagine Blizzard going back on themselves. So in case you guys think that Blizzard might change their mind, I do not see that happening. Not likely whatsoever. So this server will be removed. There are other servers, as far as I understand, potentially even Burning Crusade ones, Cataclysm ones. I always like to say that deliberately wrong. It is Cataclysm, but I love to say Cataclysm. So, there are servers out there for people to still play on, but obviously this was the big one. And the thing about that is it's really special when there's so many people that you know or you recognize throughout the world, and you go, oh, I know that guy, or that guy was in my last battleground, or, you know, I played with this guy in 2 of the dungeons I did yesterday, he's actually quite alright, or he's a twat, you know. You got these connections with these people, this real feeling of community, whether it's a good community or a bad community. There's all sorts of people, and you just connect with all of them one way or another. It is pretty much how World of Warcraft kind of used to be before you had all of these cross-realm servers and, you know, just clicking a button to get into a dungeon and stuff like that. You had to communicate with people. You had to fucking work with people and deal with them, and you forged relationships with them, good, bad. It was an interesting time to play, and I especially enjoyed the Battlegrounds a lot more back then because you had rivalries. Every time you would see someone you recognize, you go, oh, that guy screwed me over that last battleground. I'm going to just focus him this entire time. And you just get so into it. You are personally involved. And that's what World of Warcraft really needs again. Does it need vanilla? Not necessarily. The game itself is good, but it can definitely take back the aspects of what vanilla had that made it so great in the first place. And unfortunately, the longer World of Warcraft has gone on, the more it's basically gone the wrong direction, to be fair with you. It's become a solo game. Now, sometimes that can be a good thing, but not for an MMO. I like my solo games. I'm kind of antisocial to some degree, where I just want to hop on a game, play my own thing, do my own time, because I don't want to be a burden to other players, because I don't know how reliable I'm going to be, and that's fine in that case. But when I do want to, you know, play with others and have that communication and that interaction, it's kind of dead. It doesn't feel very personal, and no one talks to each other, and if you do try to talk to them, you don't get much out of them. You don't know who they are. They're from a different server. They might not even be from your own bloody country now. It's just not what it was, and you can't necessarily expect it to be what it was because it's like 11 years old now. So obviously World of Warcraft has done fantastically well for its time, so you've got to bear all of these things in mind. And I guess, let me raise this question to you. If Blizzard, now this is where I'm coming at, this is the main thing I want to look at, the whole purpose of this is legacy servers. Do people want to play it? Will it be accessible? These kind of things. If Blizzard announced to you, right, not that they're ever going to do this, but the Legion expansion comes out, and say 2 months later, they say, we're opening up a new server, because I've got a theory on how they could do this. They're opening up a new server, and on this server, it is vanilla. Because, like I say, you could take the aspects of vanilla and put it back into World of Warcraft as it currently is now, but I don't think they ever would, simply because cross-realm is just way too convenient for them and all of these kind of things. So you could just basically dumb it down and say, just go back to vanilla. Exactly, use the same coding, all that kind of stuff. Personally, I prefer the aspects of vanilla in the convenience of what we have in World of Warcraft now. But, again, if they could do that, they would have done that, and they haven't gone that direction, so they're not going to do it now. So it's basically World of Warcraft now as it is, or vanilla. So they're opening a new server 2 months after the release of Legion, and they say, this server is vanilla. And what we will do is, over a very long period of time, we will gradually build this server and release content updates. The original content updates that we actually had, Burning Crusade, Wrath of the Lich King and all that, but it will be really slowly done. So you won't suddenly get back to, you know, Cataclysm within like 8 months. It would take you 4 or 5 years. So you could argue that, oh no, that's slowly going to go towards the wrong direction. Or maybe you could just put a stop on it. Who's to say which expansion was best? But I think it's quite obvious that everyone's going to basically come to the conclusion that Wrath of the Lich King was probably the best. For me personally, Burning Crusade was the best. But Wrath of the Lich King was just as good. It was just different to me. That's all. It was just as good as Burning Crusade. It was just different. I had my best experiences in probably Vanilla, and then very closely Burning Crusade, and then very shortly after that, Wrath of the Lich King. But I enjoyed all three of them just as much as one another. So what I was saying is basically maybe they can just put a cap towards Wrath of the Lich King being the last expansion, but it will take years to get to the stage where they've released the last patch of Wrath of the Lich King, so you don't have to worry about it. You're going to enjoy Vanilla for like a year or two at least, and then another year or two on Burning Crusade. So it's going for another 6 years potentially. And this server is accessible as long as you have a World of Warcraft account subscription. So you're subscribed to World of Warcraft, you can play Legion, or you can simply click a button to log out of your Legion server and log into Blizzard's Legacy server. You don't pay 2 subscriptions, you don't pay additional prices to get it, you just have it as an option. Now, are Blizzard going to do that? Very unlikely they're going to give you stuff for free, but considering if they want to keep World of Warcraft alive, they could still have people paying for the game, but they might not necessarily be playing on Legion. Now, this will cause problems because the player base will be diverse and scattered. It's already kind of low as it is, and they don't particularly want people to be, you know, scattered amongst multiple realms and stuff like that. But I think if people aren't going to play Legion, they ain't going to play Legion. Whereas they might still stay subscribed to play the Legacy server. So they're going to pretty much not really lose anyone from this. If anything, I would have thought they'd gain people from having this option, because people have been requesting this for ages. Blizzard kind of know they've been releasing Time Lost Dungeons and all of this crap. Time Walker Dungeons where you can go back. But it's not the same because it's got the same mechanics that we currently have these days, which is totally different. The mobs are way too easy to kill and all that kind of stuff. So they need... Well, I say they need... I would like them to have 2 different servers. And on the Legacy server, preferably, if doable, the absolute minimum amount of realms. I want like 4 realms maximum. Maybe 1 for each continent or something like that. For each sort of like, dialect, country, whatever you want to call it. US East, US West, Europe, Asia, that kind of thing. And just jam-pack those realms with people. Have that huge community. When you see there's so many people hustling and bustling around, it feels so good just to... You just watch these people go about their day. At the moment, there's no one. You don't see anyone. It's so dire and bare. It's rough. So, my main point really is, can we have Legacy servers with World of Warcraft as it currently stands? So you would have Legion and the option to join a Legacy server. Now, partly get this idea because obviously I'm a Warcraft 3 player, if any of you know that. That's the game that came out shortly before World of Warcraft. It's the precursor to it. So World of Warcraft 3 is like 15 years old, but it's a fantastic game. And you can basically just hop in and out of people's different servers. On US East, there's a bigger free-for-all community, so more people play free-for-all there. I think US West might be slightly more focused on random team games, like with the free versus free variety. I might be wrong here, but what I'm getting at is each realm kind of has their own unique flavor, and that's kind of where I get this idea. It's just like, well, wouldn't it be great if I could just say, you know what, Legion was great, I'm kind of done with it, I'm going to play Legacy for the next month or so and level up my level 34 rogue there, because it just feels good to do that. I just enjoy the simplicity of it, although it was very complicated at the same time, simply because it was so over convoluted. But yeah, that's my main point really, folks, and I really would be interested to see what you think. Do you want Legacy servers? Do you want them separate, so it's entirely different process to get them? Like, you don't get Legion. I mean, obviously you would want both at the same time. That would be a no-brainer. But if Blizzard said, look, okay, we'll create one server that's for legacy, but you've got to pay an additional fee, would you be willing to pay an additional fee for it? Would you not want to pay anything at all for it? Because bear in mind that Nostalrius was free, so people could argue that that's why people had so many accounts, but I don't really think so. I think people just wanted to play vanilla World of Warcraft. You're not going to play it just because it's free. I mean, yeah, a portion of people will, but I think the vast majority of people are going to enjoy that game because they want to play it, and they would be willing to have paid money. But the people that created this server, as far as I understand it, had like a team of 30 people, which is, you know, and they worked really hard, according to this, and I trust that they did, because from their statements that they've created and that, they've come across as, you know, very hard-working people. And the comments that I've had from people that have played on these servers, you know, they had a great time. You know, they said that people were very sort of helpful and communicative. So I do believe that these people were trying to do a good thing. You know, it was a non-for-profit organization and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, it's technically not legal, or Blizzard have absolute rights to basically remove it, and they can do. Now, the other thing we could potentially just nip onto, which is kind of an obvious subject, but did Blizzard take down this server now because it's been picking up a lot of pace and a lot of attention? Bear in mind it's only been out over a year. Or did they remove it because of Legion coming out soon and they already have dwindling numbers? So they don't really want anyone impacting those numbers, because the amount of players that are on Nostalrius are pretty respectable when you consider that it's a vanilla server that's on the side. It's not like publicly announced too well or heavily marketed or anything like that. So there's actually a serious proportion of players that are playing Nostalrius without really much information about it at all, or know-how. So if that was brought out to the mass market, imagine if Blizzard marketed a vanilla server to their, you know, their user base that play all their other games, their Blizzard games. Because they've been updating Warcraft 3, Diablo 2, these old school games, so why not the classic service for World of Warcraft? They have a classics game team, so you'd think that eventually they'd get round to adding World of Warcraft as a classic game. Vanilla, classic, whatever you want to call it, legacy. It is a game of its time, and a fantastic one at that. Now, people might say, you look at it from rose-coloured glasses. Yeah, I know it'll be very difficult to go back now and level up and stuff, but I am honestly telling you, those were the best times of my life in a lot of ways, was the original World of Warcraft. I've never been so addicted, like a heroin addict, and I fucking loved it, to be quite frank with you. Absolutely loved it. I do not regret any of the time that I spent on World of Warcraft, which is an absorbent amount of time. I don't even know that's a word, but I'm going to use it. And it's just, I loved it. I don't regret it whatsoever. And to relive it, I don't think you can necessarily relive it, but you can relive what was great about it. Okay? That's what I'm kind of getting at here, is there's still a community, there's still a group, a large group of people that want to play this. To just everyone on like one realm, or just, you know, just a few realms, to have a whole bunch of people on, just talk to anyone, start a group for anything. Yeah, you can do that in World of Warcraft right now, but it's not really the same. It is a totally different game, and I think any of you that have played World of Warcraft long enough and gone through the multiple expansions will be probably agreeing with me here. But if you disagree, then please feel free to state it out and why you disagree. And for those of you that do agree and do want a legacy server, then let me know. So that's kind of it. Will Blizzard potentially bring out legacy servers themselves, or will they just try to completely and utterly bury the idea of legacy servers and just have World of Warcraft as it is and carry on creating expansions for it until eventually they just cannot get any more money out of the game and they've killed it? So, thank you everyone very much for watching. My name is Witty, and please, please, please let me know what you think in the comments section below. I'd be very interested to read your comments, because World of Warcraft's been a very big part of my life, and it's fascinating to see what other people say about it and their opinions. It allows me to connect here a little bit more and sort of like go, oh yeah, that's right, or oh yeah, that was terrible. You know, it's just fun to read, because I do go through all the comments. I might not necessarily respond to all of them because they don't always need responding to, but I do read through all the comments and I do enjoy it. So if you've got anything to say about the subject, then please feel free to do so. Okay, thank you everyone for watching. Take care, and I'll see you later.